go back to the source. It's written in English.
How about that one guy?
Very simple. Do you have a copy? Yours. I'm giving them away today. All right. Welcome, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here live in St. Paul in front of the governor's mansion where about 1,000 or so protesters are here calling for Governor Walz to open Minnesota. It's a protest called Liberate Minnesota. Again, welcome, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We are here live on Summit Avenue here in St. Paul. Thousands of people, maybe 1,000 or so people have come out to
Hey, yeah, baby! Yeah! Yes!
What brings you all out? What brings you all out today?
Oh!
Freedom,
everything else, yes!
The First Amendment.
First Amendment, the whole works, just like she says.
Red, white,
we gotta get Walz out of here.
Red, white, and blue, 2020.
Open up
Trump,
the damn economy.
2020.
Unicorn Riot.
Oh, this is Unicorn Riot.
All right, thanks. Anybody else want to say anything? Bring America back.
I love America.
What do we got? Unicorn Riot. Okay.
I love
Minnesota
you.
back.
You've got really pretty eyes
Thank you.
for a unicorn rioter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are live here.
Trump 2020! What's coming out?
Haters are coming out.
Oh. Just walk by.
Right in front of the Capitol, there, in front of the mansion, there was just speeches by the organizer. Tune in to us later if you want to catch that. We'll probably put some of that up. It was Marnie and another lady, Michelle, organized this. Again, it's to Liberate Minnesota protest here going on in front of the Governor Walz mansion, or Governor Walz residence here in Minnesota. There's about 1,000 people. It's been going on for about 45 minutes to an hour, or maybe an hour, hour and a half. I think it started at around noon. It's scheduled to go for another couple hours. Well, we've heard from a lot of people is people want the country back up. So, how you doing?
What's up?
Coming out here, document.
Yeah?
You want to say anything?
It's just all the same shit, you know.
Yeah.
We've already exposed it all years ago.
Great state. You want to talk about it?
not much to talk about. I mean, we've talked about this stuff for years. Now we get people saying, "Oh my God, I'm being affected." You know, nobody wanted to stand up before they got affected. All laws are made to make criminals. Now they're making more laws. Kind of weird. Just kind of funny.
How do you feel about the shutdown and the pandemic in general?
There's no pandemic. Media is the cancer. Mainstream. So give them the respect they deserve, which is right there. That's about it. So not much. Just kind of gratifying that people actually came to say, "Hey, open up the state," but they ain't gonna do nothing.
You don't think this?
No.
Yeah.
No. We passed the point 10 years ago. So there's no way to return this country. We're gonna have loss of death. We're gonna have mass depopulation. It's gonna happen, no matter what.
In what forms? How do you feel like that's going to happen?
Starvation, lack of water, lack of resources. Once trucking shuts down, everybody's doomed. So everybody watching and listening, what's up, Lorenzo? So anybody watching and listening, grab your gravity-fed water filters. So, where's the Antifa? What the hell? Too many guns for the black bloc?
Yeah, I haven't seen many guns. Have you seen guns?
Oh yeah. There's a lot of oath keepers here.
Yeah. I saw a lot of 3%ers too.
There's a lot of them.
Who else is out here, do you think?
A lot of Trump tards. You know, I don't see many socialists or Nazis or anything. You know, it's just kind of cool. Everybody's, I don't know. I see a lot of affected people that ain't working. That's the fucked up. I'm working. You know, you can conform or not. You choose you choose to see what you want to do. You want to sit and be told what to do, you're gonna live in fear. Don't live in fear. That's all there is to it.
Anything else you want to say?
Not really. Hey, can't wait for the depopulation. That's about it. I like that there's no traffic. Kind of nice. It's kind of nice that the police aren't out here issuing statute violations, taking money. So, I don't know. There's really not much else. Just let it all burn. Buy your ammo.
Thank you.
You can do. Yeah, for sure, man.
Do you hear it? Again, we're live here in St. Paul, in front of the Governor Walz's residence. As you can see, there's a few hundred now. There was maybe about an hour ago, this block was a little bit more packed. They haven't been honking the horns as much. But they're still honking their horns. Again, there was a speech that was had in front of the governor's mansion that was discussing why they came out here, and they were super happy that Donald Trump actually tweeted "Liberate Minnesota." We got a drummer here.
Got that right. Freedom is essential.
I was just coming over to get an interview with some folks, and they just walked off. Saw them earlier.
I love
There you go. That's good.
Yes.
All
right. I gotta
Good job. That's what we need, man.
You want to say anything?
We love Minnesota. Open that baby up.
Would you like to say anything? What's up with the gym? Where you at?
Spring Park, Minnesota.
Okay. And your gyms
All in
are
one
closed?
fitness.
Yes, gyms are closed, and we don't want people telling us we can't go to work and take care of our own businesses.
She wants to go back to work. She's got a good crew that wants to come and work out, and she can't. So they can't. So
Are you
Hardcore anti-Trumper, just so you know who you're talking to.
all right? That's okay.
That's anti-Trump news media right there. You guys actually do really good work. I don't agree with your views, but I will admit that you do good work. He's hardcore anti-Trump.
We want to work.
Yeah, we just don't
want
want
to
to
work. We don't
take
want
money from the government. We want to take care
Yeah,
of
we want to
ourselves.
work.
Do you-
We don't want government funding. We want to work.
Do you when it comes to the pandemic, are you scared at all? Do you believe in it?
Yes,
Oh, yes, I believe
we
it's
sure
real.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly, it is real.
But we still have a right, I think, to
Work. And we have a higher power that we believe in that takes care of us. And I know that it's a real thing. The pandemic is a real thing, and we do believe in
Yeah,
that.
it's not
But
fake,
we want
but
to
it's
work. We
forced.
want to work. We don't want a government handout. We want to go back to work. We want to feed ourselves. We don't want anybody else to feed.
The government doesn't have any money to give.
Yeah, we want to feed ourselves. That's why, yes, it is a real thing and people are dying. And it breaks our hearts to know the people that are dying. We believe that people are dying. Yes. My daughter goes to work at Abbott, so yes.
Are you mad that the shutdown ever happened?
No, I think the first shutdown was fine. Give it 2 weeks for people to prepare,
Yeah.
and then open back up.
Yeah.
But then it's just getting ridiculous and ruining the economy.
Yeah, we need to get back to work. We need to have a wedding May 23rd. Yeah. We want a wedding.
Anything else you want to say? You say you're getting married 23rd?
she's
May 20th.
Okay, you're getting married the 23rd. What? You're not going to be able to get married publicly now, huh?
No, we have to try and get our marriage license, but it's really hard right now because everything's shut down.
Okay.
But yeah, we're really hoping to get married May 23rd. So
Has it been pushed back, to July or something?
no, we're just waiting for it to open. So we're gonna have it May 23rd. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we want to do it. We want to have the wedding. It's a celebration. They've waited for this. And so we're just waiting to see how many people we can have. Or have it anyway, and I guess we'll all go to jail.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time. Good luck. You want to talk about why you're here at all?
I'm here for defending my liberties.
Anything else? You want to talk about your sign?
It's pretty self-evident, isn't it?
I mean, so what would make you take it?
Going back to work.
Okay, good. Thank you. You want to talk about your sign?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. The Vaccine Liberation Army is trying to educate people about the dangers of vaccine and the importance of informed consent. Research, Event 201 and the Center for Health Security, the Rockefeller Plan, Lockstep. Look it up. This has all been planned for over 10 years. The fake swine flu scamdemic. Remember that? Yep. Amen, brother. I watch your videos. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Do you have any questions?
What would make you feel safe if you do you feel like there's a pandemic even happening, and what would make you feel safe if there is?
Quarantines are fine, but not forced vaccinations. And truth in the statistics, in the reporting. This is all being hyped. If you look up the statistics on the CDC's own website, Dr. Jensen is exposing their... sign there, quarantine the vulnerable and the at-risk, not the well people. Yep, because life is full of risks. Yep, and we're all taking a risk being out here. You're taking a risk being out here. Are we gonna shut down the highways because there's one car accident? No, we're not gonna do it. This is a planned. This is part of the planned population eugenics control. Do you know about that?
Nah, I mean, you can talk about it real quick. I gotta keep moving, but yeah, give us a summary on what the eugenics control is trying to do right now.
This has been going on for years, since Malthus. Just do your research. Look up Thomas Malthus and Aldous Huxley and the connections to the United Nations. Brave New World. Aldous Huxley's brother. 1984, George Orwell. We're going into it. Look at the Bible. Look at what Jesus said in Revelations.
There's those beads.
Amen, brother.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate you. Take care. Yep. Trying to get you a wide variety of viewpoints from what we see here is a pro-USA, sort of pro-Trump, a lot of pro-Trumpers, and anti-walls, anti-stay-at-home order. You want to talk about your sign at all?
Yeah, I love it. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in our president. I believe in the cause. Don't be so scared. It's all propaganda.
Okay. So when it comes to the shutdown, you're on the side of let's open it up, and I'm guessing.
Let's fire it up. Let's get her cracking.
And then, I mean, what's the next steps? Do you want to do the phase 1, 2, and 3 that they're talking about, or do you want to just open it all the way up?
Follow the president's orders. We can follow that and be open by May 1st. No problem. We love our president.
Are you okay with the Midwest Coalition sort of collaborating together? Have you heard about that?
Yes, I have, and I'm not in favor of it. Absolutely not. I want to follow what our president has to say.
Yeah, can you talk about more about like the Midwest Coalition? Why you wouldn't be in favor of that?
Why am I not in favor?
Yeah.
Because it's going backwards with what our president is trying to do. He's trying to form a coalition with other people, with other governors, and trying to stand up against our president. That's wrong. You want to imprison yourself? Then that's the way to go. I don't want to imprison myself. I want to get back to work and get things going.
Sounds good. So when it comes to like people who are like, hey, so the states have to sort of work together because the economy is sort of attached together. Are you in favor of the working together for the economy, or are you just like you'd rather them listen to the federal level?
I want to get going for the economy. This whole thing is a hoax. This whole propaganda. It's a made-up thing by the WHO, by the CDC, by Bill Gates. Do you want to have someone stick a microchip in your hand and track you from the cradle to the grave? Does that make sense? It don't make sense to me. But if that's what you like, go with that. Maybe you can be the first in line for the vaccine and see how that works for you.
And so you feel like the vaccine, if they create a vaccine, it'll have a microchip in it?
Not all of them, but I sure wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust anything. Your body is capable of fighting whatever sort of problem you have going on with it. Anything that this virus has to throw at you, your body can deal with it. 98.5% of people can.
Anything else you'd want to say for, I don't know, being out here, anybody that's watching in the future, anytime?
Think for yourselves. Be independent. You have a brain. Use your brain. Think about what's going on. Think about the big picture. It's important. People rely on you. Your children, your families all rely on you to think for yourselves. Think for yourself.
Thank you.
Keep Governor Walz out and make Minnesota red again!
The gentleman has a MAGA megaphone and a Proud Boy handkerchief.
Good workout because I have been working.
You want to talk about why you're here, though?
Sure.
Yeah. What brings you out?
I'm here because the numbers do not match.
The numbers of what?
You know, like the deaths and everything that's going on around with it. I mean, it's just not right. It's not adding up, and they're just plain lying to us. So tell us the truth.
Yeah.
And open up our state. We need it. Small businesses are hurting. Plain and simple.
Are you able to get any support from the government with the shutdown right now?
Right now, I am not.
And so your idea is to open it back up. Do you have a job if it would open back up?
Right now, I am still working, yes, but there's a lot of other people that are not. And you know what? We got to defend all of us, not just a few chosen ones. All right.
When it comes to so are you from Minneapolis or St. Paul area?
Yes, I'm from Minneapolis.
Okay. So and then you came out in front of the governor's mansion. There's a lot of people out here. How's the scene been for you?
I'm sorry. What was that?
How's the scene been for you out here? There's a lot of people.
It's been awesome. I mean, it's great. It's good to see. We need more people out here. Get out here and join us. Don't be chicken.
Anything else you want to say?
God bless America. Live in faith, not in fear.
Thank you.
You got.
With foam, God bless Minnesota.
You want one of our cards?
Sweet.
I've been in one of your videos.
Oh, yeah? Here's the card. My name is Nico. How you doing?
Nico, I'm doing fine. What are you here for, mainly?
Would you like to? I'm covering the. Would you like to talk?
Anything? Yeah, I would like to know if you're here to track this.
I actually haven't asked anybody. You want to talk about that? I'm alive right now. We can talk about it.
Yeah, no, I want to go.
Okay. A lady was wondering why we're out here if we're going to trash people for not wearing a mask, and I haven't asked anybody about that. She said, oh, I want to go join this drum line.
Nancy Pelosi. They're the death of small businesses and crony capitalism. It is false to our democracy and our republic. Impeach Speaker Pelosi. Impeach the Democrats. Impeach.
You want to talk about your signs?
Sure.
Okay, COVID-1984.
I just think that the response was not proportional. I would just like to see it more proportional. Protect the people at risk, and for people that are able-bodied and have a low likelihood of getting sick, I would just like to see us be able to get back to work and be able to support the sick. So I I think we just need some sense of proportion. It feels a little heavy-handed.
Do you feel?
Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
Okay, so my mother's 83. She's very fit. She lives in a senior living business or a complex, not a nursing home. I can't go in or out. Her friend died 2 days ago. Her good friend Bonnie died 2 days ago, and I can't comfort her. I can't love her. I can't touch her. I can't rub her back. And I mean, I'm doing what I can. I'm calling her and bringing flowers, blah blah blah. But I just feel like we're losing our humanity. Like this is serious, but like we got to retain a sense of humanity too. So thank you.
No, real quick, that's a really good point you bring up. A lot of people have sort of the same or similar actions that are happening. They're not able to visit their loved ones. When it comes to like nursing homes in general, do you feel like you would bring a threat if you came into the nursing home? Maybe you're asymptomatic, maybe you're not infected.
I'm totally fine with not entering the building, but just like Wednesday of this week, she can't even come out to us. I can't visit her through a window. I can't visit her through a glass door. It just, it's a heartbreaker. I just have these visions of my mom crying, by herself, and I can't do a damn thing. So,
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Somebody brought a pig.
This is my kitty. It's my right to protect. Nobody's allergic to or footballs.
Hey, can you talk about why you brought is this yours?
This is my pig, and this is her message of all jobs are necessary for the supply chain. And when you start messing with the supply chain, if we run out of food, there's going to be a whole lot worse than what's going on with the few people who are suffering from the disease, for which there is a very effective treatment.
Okay. Can you talk about where you're from and then what made you bring your lovely pig? And then also maybe what the effective treatment could be?
Well, I forget, hydrochloroquinic something, I can't pronounce it, but that medicine with zinc and vitamin C, I mean, many people are recovering, far more are recovering than are dying. And I'm here to say, open up Minnesota. People are suffering. I have family members that are unemployed, and I've seen people who are depressed, and we're going to have that the treatment is far worse than the supposed disease. The 70,000 has been revised how many times? They realized that was not accurate, and now we need to look at actual models, and it's time to open the state.
How do you have you heard about the phase 1, 2, 3, 4? How do you feel about that, and how do you feel they should open up the state? Just like do it right now? How do you feel?
Open everything right now. The people who are sick should quarantine themselves. This has always been the case, but when you quarantine healthy people, that's tyranny.
He's the only God with a plan.
One last question. So there was the Midwest Coalition or whatever. The governor signed up with, Minnesota's governor signed up with Wisconsin and Michigan.
Should have joined Iowa and the Dakotas.
Okay.
Yeah, he joined all the Democrat governors who want to maintain the power that they are so drunk with.
Thank you very much. Anything else you want to say?
No, who are you with?
My name is Nico. I'm part of Unicorn Riot. Let me give you one of our cards.
Oh, okay. Are you like an online thing?
Yeah, we're an independent media organization based in Minneapolis.
Cool.
Thank you.
Look out. Thank you.
What's your name? You want to talk about your sign at all?
We just made it up this morning. Had to come out, let our voice be heard, Need to get back to work.
So how do you feel, just real quick, just open it all back up right away?
I'd say, healthy people, why not? I mean, why lock us up? If you got a health problem, sure, be careful, but I'd rather be free and take the risk. We take risks every day with just crossing the street, driving, and everything else. So I'm game. Open it all up. You bet.
Thank you. Again, we're here live in Minnesota, Governor's Mansion.
Let's go, man.
All right, anybody want to talk?
Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Nope.
Have fun, brother. Have fun. Read them on. Read them on.
Read them on? All right.
Amen, brother. Yeah. There we go.
Constitution matters, baby. Constitution matters.
You want to talk about it all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the governor's measures are draconian, they're unconstitutional, and they're illegal, and they're immoral. I think more people are going to die because of his measures than are actually going to be dying from the virus itself. To shut down a state of 5.6 million people because 90 people have died is ridiculous. And what they've done is they've set a precedence that any time there's a flu outbreak, they could do this for gun violence and just say, hey, we're suspending your constitutional rights, we're going to do an executive order saying you need to register your weapons, or we're going to come to your house and we're going to take them for you. It's not going to happen. Not under my watch, never again. This is enough. He needs to open the state back up. He's destroying people's lives. He's destroying people's finances. He's destroying people's recovery from drug addiction and alcoholism. More people are going to die because of this cure than are going to die from the disease itself.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
Nope, I'm good, man. God bless America. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether this nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met upon a great battlefield of this war. We have come to dedicate a portion of this field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that this nation might live. We are altogether proper and fitting for us to do this. But we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow these grounds. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far beyond our poor power to add or detract. History will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what we've done here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that we take from these hot or dead a new sense of devotion to the cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion. That we highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God be given a new birth of freedom, that liberty, that government by the people, for the people, of the people, shall not perish from this earth. Abraham Lincoln, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, 1863.
Oh, can I give a counterpoint to that?
Yeah, please.
Well, I disagree with the gentleman about the tyranny is Minnesota has low deaths because we've done a great job with it. I mean, you look at Iowa, they have more COVID cases than we do, and they don't have a shelter in place. The nurses don't want us out here and the healthcare workers don't want us out here because the hospitals become overran with patients, and that's why we're flattening the curve. Capitalism is not more important than people's lives. I don't know what businesses they want to open. The grocery store is open. You know, it's upon the government to take care of people now. This is pretty much an economic Great Depression. So instead of bailing out corporations and airlines and things like that, we need to get money to the people and stay at home. And I should be home today, but I wanted to see this. And I came in here kind of hot, but I've actually enjoyed talking to people, and it's been a great day. So trying to be respectful going forward and enjoy this moment. But please, people, stay at home. I should be at home. But I know we're all sick of being stuck at home. But this is a pretty cool event to see people get together.
Thank you for the counterpoint, and thank you for discussing that. So you're saying it's been really good to talk to people. What's your summary from talking to people?
Well, to put it upon myself, I came in a little hot. I think this protest is kind of dumb. I called it free dumb, D-U-M-B. No offense to these people, but like I said, capitalism is not more important than people dying. So, can you ask me again what was the part?
So can you summarize the discussions that you've had with everybody that makes it sort of like it's like a good feeling from what I heard you say. Speaking to people. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so when we've disagreed, I've found some people that I've really enjoyed talking to, even though we completely disagree. And there's things that we do agree upon. And one thing that we agree upon is the establishment of both parties has been there too long, and it's
three parties at least.
Yeah, at least. I agree with this gentleman here. The two-party system's not working. Like, people are telling me now, oh, you got to vote for Joe Biden. No, I don't. Joe Biden needs to come.
He's creepy. He's gonna touch your kids when you're not looking.
Joe Biden needs to come to my issues and other people's issues if he wants to win over the left.
He'll come. He'll come.
I'm not sure. He's very corporate. He's very corporate.
He'll come.
He's very corporate, and he's been kind of strident in his.
You're not getting what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying.
I know. But he's been very strident in his private insurance companies. I'm going to stick with that. Millions of people lost their jobs this month and don't have health insurance, and we're going to stick with private health insurance. Nancy Pelosi is looking to expand COBRA instead of expanding Medicare for all. COBRA is unaffordable. I don't know anyone who could ever afford COBRA, but that's our government's solution to things like this: is prop up corporations. No matter what party you think you belong to, which most people don't even belong to a party, they're not representing us. It's really unfortunate. I was a Bernie supporter. I've been a lifelong Bernie fan since the 90s, and it's just too bad that fell apart.
So real quick, so you said you should be at home. You feel like it was good though to be down here. What is your overall take from literally? This is Minnesota right here, right now. This is maybe 1,000 people out here telling walls that they don't want this stay-at-home order.
Well, 70% of this city is Democratic, and so these people are from out of town. That's clear. Like, this is a Trump rally. I mean, if you saw the Facebook event, they've mentioned Trump, and it comes from, my mask keeps falling up. It comes from Trump saying we got to open business soon, and that's irresponsible. We don't know. We don't have the testing. We don't have the vaccine. We don't know. And our numbers are low here because we've done the right thing. And look at South Dakota, at the Sioux Falls Smithfield packing plant. Like 2/3 of the plant has the virus, and then they took it to their family. And I think as of yesterday, 644 people had the virus in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and that's scary. Science matters, and when you have the virus, you can spread it to 3 people, and then it's exponentially. So I think it's over a month, or is it a week? It's going to be over 1,000 people if you just look at grocery store workers. They're even working without masks. One takeaway I would say from this: that workers need to unite and fight for a union and fight for better wages, because if they're essential, they're worth more than $15 an hour, so you can buy your toilet paper and beans. And all those people who boo-hooed $15 an hour need to change their attitude, seeing now who has to work at Minnesota's paltry $9.80 an hour. I'm really disappointed in our minimum wage. It's pathetic. For as wealthy, as corporate as the state is, for our minimum wage to be $9.80, the DFL has failed us on that, and they need to go back to the table and raise it again. If we want to be like a Washington or an Oregon, states like that, we need to step up, because Minnesota is expensive.
Anything else you want to say?
I'm glad the weather's nice. It's good to be out. Looking forward to this being over, but who knows when it'll be over. All right, this is once in a lifetime.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it. Stay safe. Oh, word. Nurses do not want people out here. Yeah. Hey, if you got any nurses that want to talk, hit us up.
We need help with this, to be honest.
Huh?
We need help with what you're doing.
Word.
We're not very cutting edge. Are you recording now?
Yes, I am live right now. So, yeah, no problem. Bring me up.
We can be more cutting edge. You know?
Yeah, okay.
We need more videography, I think. SDIU, service employees.
Again, we're live here in St. Paul. Thank you. So can you tell me what's your name? And I saw that you were like part of the reason why this happened. Can you talk about that?
Right. My name's Michelle, and I organized the event. And I did this because the people who want to work in this state need a platform to let legislators and the governor know that we want to get back to work. And I don't believe that the media has covered that. All they're doing right now is talking about how this should be a feel-good moment in everybody's life. But there's people out here that their lives are being destroyed by this shutdown, but that's never covered in the media.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. So when it comes to opening up the state, I've heard different ideas. I've heard just open it all the way up. I've heard that the people who are sort of sick should be quarantined. How do you feel the opening of the state should happen?
Okay, I think people who are compromised, people who have health issues should definitely be quarantined. The people at risk should be quarantined. But the rest of us should be out there working. And I don't believe in a slow progression because, as I understand it, he just opened up fishing, golf courses, all these things that I don't do. But I do want to go get a haircut. And there's thousands of people out here who do want to go get a haircut. So he doesn't get to decide what's essential to people and what is not essential. And when they're going to go in there and they're going to start dictating to businesses this slow open, and if you don't follow these mandates, we're going to come back here and shut your business down, that's bullcrap. We're adults, we run our businesses, and we know how to do it.
Anything else you want to say when it comes to Governor Walz, the shutdown, the crisis, how people are feeling, anything?
Governor Walz needs to end the shutdown now, and people need to go back to work. People's lives are being destroyed right now as we're standing here. There's people that have saved all their lives for retirement, and that is disappearing. People have worked all their lives to build a business, and that's being taken away from them, and that has to stop.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You want to talk about your mask? Oh, you're against the shutdown? Can I talk to you as a health worker? Would you be down to do an interview?
No, I don't know enough about yours.
Okay, no problem. Set a sign. Can I get a quick video of the sign? Thank you. Good, are you? You want to talk about why you're here at all? Yeah? All right, so you're out here in front of the governor's mansion. What brought you out here?
Hi, my name's Jim. I'm with Minnesota 3UP and also openminnesota.org. It's time to be smart, get our companies, get our employees, get our students back in school. Minnesotans are used to being sick. We get the common cold, we get the flu. We know how to legislate ourselves. We stay home when we're sick. We need to get back to work. Thank you.
Real quick.
Yeah.
When it comes to opening up, what is your idea of opening? Should we just open it up? Should we follow the phases? What's your plan? What's your idea?
I think we should follow the phases, but we need to start today. There's companies out there, especially smaller companies where it's 2 or 3 employees, mom and dad companies, where they can police themselves. They can wash their own hands. They can wear their own masks if they want to wear masks. Things like that. We can limit exposure, but still get these businesses open.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
No, the big thing, like I said, is the schools. I want to give a shout out to all the mom and dads that are educating their children right now. We get a break from the indoctrination, but I know it's hard for you guys to be doing that, so keep at it. Use every source you can, and thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're bringing you voices from the front of this protest to reopen the state of Minnesota. Thank you all for joining. It's Nico from Unicorn Riot. Dan on the back end, thank you.
going this way.
God set me free. When I was born, He set me free immediately. Governor, you are not free, but I am free. Set the rest of us free. Thank you.
This is America. We just want to live free, and I want my children to go back to work. God bless America. And Governor Walz, open up Minnesota now!
Minnesota cannot afford to be unemployed. We have to go back to work. This is a path to tyranny, and the path to tyranny begins with the destruction of the truth. Governor Walz, open Minnesota!
My choice! My business, my choice! My business, my choice!
I walked right by you. I was headed over to I thought that was government, but it wasn't. I saw him earlier chasing somebody down.
It's Morning Honeybrook. That's right. We're an independent media organization. Can I give you one of our cards?
Got the guy with the round sign.
Can I have one too, please?
Yep. So, it was a
Thank
nice
you.
turnout.
What's your media outlet?
Unicorn Riot.
Okay.
Would you like to? So I was going to ask you, would you be down to do an interview? Would you be interested in doing an interview right now? We are live right now. I just talked to Michelle up there.
Okay.
I just basically wanted to talk to her because I thought you were one of the organizers.
Yeah.
Can I just get you? Why are you doing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Can we stand like right here and then I
whatever
can have
you-
that in the
sorry.
background? Sweet. Thank you. You want to just talk about who you are, what brought you down here? You created this, and why?
Hi, my name is Marnie Hockenberg, and I'm one of the organizers of the Liberate Minnesota protest here at Governor Walz's house. Well, we're just fed up with the tyranny of our governor, quite frankly, and we want to get back to work. I have my own business. I'm an independent business owner. My business has suffered. I am essential. My clients are essential. I don't qualify for a small business loan or anything like that. I just have nothing now to really count on. And so many people I know have lost everything. So we decided that we wanted to tell Governor Walz that we are ready to get back to work. If people don't want to get back to work, that's their own choice. But it's my business, my choice. And freedom is essential, and fear is a choice. So about a week and a half ago, Michelle called me, and she said, hey girl, let's do a protest. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Because we've done a lot of protests. And in a week and a half, we pulled this together. We put it out on social media, Liberate Minnesota. I've got my own YouTube channel, Marnie Hockenberg. That's the video that I made about 8,000 views. So a lot of people came here because of that. And we're just tired of the tyranny. And, it's just social. They're just really feeding us socialism. They're trying to get us used to government handouts. And they're trying to get people used to being dependent on the government. And who are they to tell me I can't go shopping at my favorite store or go out to get a drink? I'd love to go get a drink after this, but I have no place to go. I'd love to go. I'm starving. I'd love to go get a bite to eat somewhere, but there's no place to go. I'd love to hang out with my friends, but there's no place to go. And we're sheltering in this whole globalist agenda, with Agenda 2030, and you've got Bill Gates and Fauci and Birx all in on it, and this whole nefarious agenda. When you really look at it from a global perspective, from a wide range and a deep perspective, it's far more nefarious than just staying at home to avoid the COVID-19 virus, which is real from China, the Chinese virus. So we're sick of it. And Minnesota we've got a lot of really great people here. We had a great economy. We had low unemployment. People were doing very well. They were sending their kids to college and saving for retirement and opening up businesses and high growth. And I'm a businesswoman. I work with business owners, and things were great until the hammer and sickle dropped. So we decided just to ramp up this protest, and here we are. And we've got all these great people showing up, and what we're doing is we're giving people a platform to voice their opinion, because that's what citizens do. And the change only takes place at the grassroots effort, the grassroots. We cannot rely on, obviously, the government for anything. It really be scared of the government. But it's the grassroots that makes the difference at the local level. So if you're watching this and you are in a community that you have got a number of people that are riled up as well, just ramp up your own protest. We have to get these protests going all over America. And President Trump tweeted about this. President Trump tweeted about this. And we love President Trump. I don't know if your viewers probably
love
don't.
President Trump!
Hey, real quick, so thank you for that. When it comes to opening, do you think we should do the phases? Do you think maybe the sick people should stay home? How do you feel like the opening should happen?
Well, you know, I think if you're not feeling well and you're sick, you should stay home anyway. I mean, duh. I mean, it's common sense. What about common sense? What about taking personal responsibility for yourself? That's what we all should be doing. And not be slaves to the government. You know, if you believe everything the government tells you to do, I'm sorry, you are really in a big heap of mess of trouble. Because the government is not on our side of freedom, literally.
I heard you talk about the WHO Plan 2030. Can you talk about that real quick? I don't really know much about it.
Oh, the World Health Organization? Oh, the World Health Organization that's run by a radical Marxist terrorist genocider? Oh yeah, I have a lot of trust in that. No. I don't trust the UN is awful. I mean, that's not why we're here though. We're here because we want to get back to work. And we want people to earn a paycheck, and we want people to be able to provide for their families and buy groceries. And we want the children to not be traumatized by this. We want to get the kids back to school. We want to get back to normal. And I don't believe this in a new normal. We want to just get back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to say? Thank you very much. I can still hear the end, so thank you. So you heard from literally the two organizers, sort of back to back. Their opinion of why they're out here, why they're doing what they're doing.
If you let me sing, I'm a singer. Real quick, could I give you answer one question and then do the ending of the song? And then do the ending of the song? Okay, cool. I mean, so really, I've been asking everybody questions, and it seems like everybody is like really telling me the truth. I sort of wanted, like, my last question is there any risk if they reopen the economy? So you're asking me? Oh.
Yes, I will. So, do you want to announce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and just why you're here, real quick?
Well, my name is Jenny Willard, and I live here in the great city of St. Paul, Minnesota.
All right. So, we've talked to a lot of people, and we've heard a lot of people want the state open. Do you want the state open first? And then second of all, do you feel if we did, what way should we do it, and would there be risks?
I want the state open now, and I want it open. I don't know if there's risks. There's always risks in anything you do. So you keep it closed, people are going to die for sure. On both sides. Are people going to die for coronavirus? They're going to die because they're lonely and inside of their little houses, and maybe nobody sees them for months because they've quarantined themselves. They're going to die because they may commit suicide because they've lost their business. They're going to die because they can't get to the hospital because the hospitals are even closing down. The people can't get there and go to their doctors and their dentists and stuff. People are going to die. They die no matter what. You walk out of your front door and you get hit by a bus and you die. You don't stop the country because you might die. So that's what I think.
That makes sense. So the agreement was you can sing the ending of a song. What song would you want to sing the ending of?
Oh, an ending of a song.
I mean, I just don't have the time to do 3 minutes for a song, so maybe like the last chorus or a middle chorus or an ending or a hook or intro.
God bless Minnesota, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the Iron Range to the prairies, to the lakes and rivers, white with foam, God bless Minnesota, my home, sweet home. Thank you for letting me sing more when you done the end. That was for you.
Yeah, that was good. Appreciate it. You want to talk about your sign at all?
Yeah, sure.
Rocks and cows are smarter than king walls.
Yeah, it's easy. They are because he thinks he can control the economy. He can't control the economy. There's no levers he can flip, no gears he can turn on or things he can shut off. The economy's organic. It's everybody here. It's, you know, everybody doing their own thing. All he's going to do is create black markets, black market haircuts. That's why I say this. Cows are smarter than him. They know they can't control the economy.
So you're in favor of opening up the state?
Absolutely. It's ridiculous.
In what way? So I've heard that there's like phases that possibly could be brought out, and then I've heard that there's people are just like, let's open it all. Which way what do you prefer?
Open it all because 14 days. My understanding is we have to have less cases every day for 14 straight days to go to the next phase. But we're going to increase our testing up to 5,000 tests a day. There's no way we're going to have lower testing if we're increasing the amount of tests we're doing. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you feel like, would there be any risks? Let's say being out here in general, a lot of people don't have masks. Is there any risk to this? And then is there any risk if we open back up the economy?
Absolutely there's risk in this, and my understanding is this affects a lot of elderly people. You got other conditions, underlying conditions, it affects you too. You shouldn't be here if you think you have those conditions. You know, the rest of us, live free, not scared, live free.
Anything else you'd want to say?
No, that's it.
Okay, real quick. So there's the coalition that the Walls created with the other governors on a little bit east of us. How do you feel about that, the Midwest Coalition?
I believe that all that is another way for Walls to move the goalposts on ending the shutdown. He's going to hide behind this coalition and say we can't do things.
Thank you. Anything else?
No.
That's what they do.
It was Unicorn Riot.
It's an independent media organization. Could be one of our cards. We're non-partisan. Personally, I feel like we're better if the parliamentary system is stronger than like the two-party system. Unicorn Riot tries to report without bias, without party. Yeah.
I'm actually fighting for natural law. Our God-given rights.
You want to do an interview real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So we're live right now. We're in front of the governor's mansion. You have a sign that says, "This country belongs to the people, not the government. We will take it back." You want to talk about the sign and what brought you out here?
Well, I feel like socialism kind of is taking over our world. It's not the same place as it used to be when I grew up. You know, I think that everybody should have their viewpoints shared, but nobody should push their views on other people. We could all live in this country and have our own views, but we seem to be one-sided now. So I just want it to be taken back. You know, I hate to say this, but there was a president back in the days that said if we didn't revolt against our government, it would grow so large that it would overtake us. And I think that's happened now. I think our government's grown so big that the governor hasn't came out to talk to his people. You know, he could come say a few words to us, but he chooses not to. So we need to stand up for our freedoms. You know, people can make their own decisions if they want to go outside, and we can take care of the sick, but we don't need to put everybody in their houses. It just makes no sense to me.
So when it comes to the stay-at-home order, obviously it sounds like you're against the stay-at-home order, and you feel like we should all just sort of have the right to do what we want.
Well, to a point. I mean, I think we all need to respect each other. And it's been that way forever. The people that need to be respectful of each other. But, you know, we can't tie up everybody that is, you know, healthy or is responsible. Our economy is just going to fall soon, and I don't know what we'll have left. You know, we built this country. It took a long time. So, and I feel bad for the people that, you know, a lot of people died for freedom. So I'm glad to see a lot of people out here standing up for it, because there was a lot of sacrifices for what we have today.
So do you feel like, thank you for that, do you feel like there's any risk if we were to open up right now? I see you out here without a mask, and obviously I feel like you said it's sort of on us to weigh that risk, but do you feel like there's any risk as let's say it's Governor Walz, if he's elected to be the governor of this whole state and then be in charge of 6 million people almost, do you feel like it would be risky for him to open it back up and then maybe those numbers that die, or how do you feel like the risks weigh out in this situation?
I think that there's been plenty of things, you know, advisories for people to be smart about this whole thing. I don't think that we need total lockdown, and to be honest with you, I think it's completely against our Constitution, which a lot of people probably think here too. You know, I don't think our government has ever locked us down. Even through the plague, we still work through it, but now they want to keep us in our house. So I think there's a better way to do it. I think people are responsible. Nobody wants to get sick. Nobody's going to go out there and go, hey, you know, why don't you give me some of your coronavirus? But, you know, I believe in God, and I believe that, you know, when my time comes, it is what it is, and I need to live life, and I can't just stop living, you know, to, you know, sit at home and wait. Because if we do it today, it'll just continue on to the next time we're sick. I mean, it'll just go on and on and on. It'll never end. So, I believe in freedom. It's the American way.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to say anything?
It's the opposite of InfoWars.
The opposite
of InfoWars.
You want to do an interview real quick?
That would be. I already interviewed with you guys. If you guys do it,
and I'll give you a card too.
Are you guys like the Young Turks or what?
Something like that.
I hope not. Young Turks, something like that.
No, I don't know about Young Turks. All right. So we got you. You're out here. Can you talk about who you are? What brought you here?
Well, local Proud Boys, Minnesota. We're just out here letting it be known that we're not going to stand for the governor taking away our tyranny. So that's the message we're here spreading. We got God-fearing Americans out here who ain't afraid to come here and show their support for their Constitution. And that's why I'm here, just to let them know that the shutdown has to end. And if they don't support Trump when he reopens the economy, we'll be here every day.
When it comes to reopening the state, obviously you're for reopening the state. Do you feel like there's any risks involved if the governor were to open up the state?
I do believe there's a small risk opening the state because, I mean, it is a real pandemic. But I feel like the numbers have been conflated and the mainstream media is just lying to us, to panic us, to fearmonger so they can move in their, you know, authoritarian way of life that they're trying to push on America.
When it comes to the future, we have an election coming up. Do you feel like there will be an election? Do you feel like some of this will halter an election? What do you feel like the future of 2020 looks like for America?
Well, if the Democratic Party gets their way, maybe the election will be from home, and maybe they'll rig the votes like they plan on doing. But I don't think the election will be halted at all. I think these people will get out here and vote just like they're coming out here to show their support for their God-given rights.
So, are you a Minnesotan?
I'm a Minnesotan, yes. I live here. I'm a resident. I'm not from Minnesota, but I'm a resident.
Okay. So, when it comes to Minnesota, are you a fan of the coalition that Walz just created with the Midwest Coalition, and allowing like Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan and other states to sort of work together to try to open up? Or are you more, let's just open it up?
I mean, you got to go about it carefully. Any coalition of Democrats, I'm not trusting, period. So,
well, why didn't they? My question is, why, if there's going to be the Midwest, why is South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska not in there?
Because they're conservative.
That's right. And they didn't shut down, and they're conservatively opening.
Exactly. And I plan on the Democratic governors holding their states hostage after Trump opens up, but if they do, the re-election will get them out of there, and people will just be out here every day.
You said you're a Proud Boy, Minnesota Proud Boy?
Yes, sir.
You want to talk about that?
What's there to talk about? Y'all know what we're about.
Can you tell the audience what you're about? I think there's a lot of misconceptions as to who, what, and how.
Well, yeah, if you believe the mainstream media and you listen to them, they'll make us out to be a right-wing terrorist group, when actually we're just God-fearing Americans who, you know, go to rallies and protect all of these people when then scumbags like Antifa try to show up. So that's our job. We also support Western civilization, and, you know, we'll never apologize for creating that, period.
So do you like slavery? Like, if it's Western civilization, we would look at Western civilization and built the creation of the United States. Is that something you're in favor of? And then when it comes to chauvinism, one of the Proud Boys' main titles is your creed. How do you feel about women in general?
I love my women. Point blank, period. I feel they got every right I have. You know, I'm a conservative, but I also believe women got the right to have all their liberties that they want also. So that's how I look at it. I put my woman on a pedestal, and I make her feel like a queen.
That's because you're a Bible-believing man.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. Thank you for answering. When it comes to women, is that part of like Western chauvinism and like traditionalism to put your woman on a pedestal, as you're saying? It just sort of seems like that's the opposite of what I've heard from a lot of folks like you, but I just want to know.
Well, what have you heard from folks like me when it comes to women?
Yeah, I've heard like a lot of rape jokes, like a lot of people talking about raping women. Women ain't shit. Little daughters need to get this. Little daughters need to get that.
I mean, I'm sure you got bad people on each side that say crazy shit, but you really want to know about talking bad about women. What about mainstream society and pop culture that had me selling dope, toting guns, and treating women like they weren't shit? So I say to my fucking favorite rapper, kiss my fucking ass, you had me brainwashed, and now I'm a God-fearing American, and I'm a Proud Boy, and I'm standing up for what I believe in.
Anything else you'd want to say?
Go America, Trump 2020. Proud Boys here, and we ain't going nowhere. Antifa, come bring it. That's it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Yup.
Good job.
People need to educate themselves about our rights. Read the Constitution. Read the Bill of Rights. That is why we are here.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
I was just listening to you. Just listening to you.
Did you have questions when I had asked about the women, how they treat the women, or?
No, I didn't have questions, but I tell you that if you're an American and brought up rape, there's no such thing as rape culture. Rape culture is something that's okayed and is saying, hey, that's fine to do it. Rape is not an okay process, so there's no rape culture here in the United States. I'm not saying there are idiots out there that do that. They have no respect for women, and then not only I think if they don't have any respect for women, it means they don't have any respect for themselves. I myself personally, no, I don't. I believe that if you're a rapist, you need to get castrated, as far as I'm concerned. But also, I don't believe that you're supposed to believe every woman. There's a thing called due process. Just like when they were going over Kavanaugh for the thing, you know, they didn't have the proof. The girl, the gal, she couldn't remember what date, time, place, or anything like this. Well, I'm not saying that something bad didn't happen to her, but at the same time, you can't say this guy did it because you can't tell me 35 years ago you remember what's going on. So, but I don't think rape is not a part of our culture. It never will be, and people should treat each other with respect. With the understanding, too, that respect is earned. It's not just handed out like candy on a tray. But you learn to respect each other, learn to understand that your point of view and my point of view may differ, and that's fine. That means that we can come together and have a conversation, discuss each other's point of views, and then chances are, if you have a legit open mind where you can listen to each other, there should be no reason why we couldn't walk away with learning something about the other person. Because there's the people that are on the left, and I don't call myself a Republican, I don't call myself a Democrat. I'm just a conservative. That's it. I believe in the Constitution. I fought for the Constitution. I still live under the oath I took when I went in the military. But I'm open enough to listen to somebody else who has a different opinion. But what I don't like is when you have a different opinion and they jump on you saying, well, you're you're homophobe or bigot or racist, whatever like this. No, that ain't true. Learn to live with each other, learn to respect each other, learn to respect each other's point of view, and you come together as a country. Now, this to me is a sign that you look out here, there's people of blacks, Asian, white, Latinos, all different races, and look we're all out here doing the same thing. We all want to see Minnesota opened up again and get the economy going. We had a flourishing economy before this shit happened, and I think there ain't no real virus. I think it's a fake. I think it's a hoax that was brought on Bill Gates and a lot of his little cronies. But let's get Minnesota going back together. Not only Minnesota, let's get the country going back. Let's get the jobs. I'm retired, granted, so I don't have a job to worry about. But I'm still stuck as like a mouse in a trap, just like these people. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. So I want to see this country and this state open up. Let us get back together, because if we go too long, we're going to falter. And these kids that wanted socialism, they're getting a good example of what socialism is like. The quarantine, the telling you not where you can go, what you can do, what you can't say, the whole 9 yards. This is a good preview for socialism. I grew up, we used to see red lines in Russia, where people are standing in line, and I'm not talking about 20, 30 guys, people, I'm talking about 100, 200 people standing in line for their ration of bread. And if you got up there and the guy would say, well, I'm sorry, we have no more bread, you're screwed. You don't get anything. This country is faltering, and I pray to God I'm dead before that ever happens.
Thank you. 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that you feel like the virus is a hoax?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the people that are dying aren't real, and the people that are getting sick aren't really getting sick from the virus? What do you feel like? What's the misconnect there?
Well, right now they got it set up to you can die of a heart attack, and they're going to put it down as a this COVID or whatever it is, 19. Why? Because they're getting about $5,000 from Uncle Sam for every one they die. I look at it this way. I think it's a political ploy. When we had the swine flu, when Obama was in office, they said over 12,000 died. We didn't shut the country down. We didn't do any of this. And now we got not even a third of the people supposedly have died of this. And we shut the country down? It's the liberal media and the liberals themselves are putting the fear-mongering in people. They're causing a panic. If people would sit there and if nobody had said that doggone thing and let it run its course, it would have been, people would have thought it was a flu epidemic. I was a kid when I grew up. My mom would tell me to go next door and play with the kids who had chickenpox. Why? Get it done with, get it over with. I think the same thing should have happened. Now, I'm in that percentage group where I'm supposed to be fragile. I'm 70 years old, or almost 70. I got COPD, and I look at it this way. If I get the goddamn thing, fine, and if it kills me, fine. It's whose fault is it? Mine. Nobody else's. Open up the fucking country. Just let us live. This is insane.
Thank you. Do you feel like there's a risk? So obviously, it doesn't sound like you would care about personal risk to yourself if something happens to you. Do you feel like there's a risk for, let's say, people whose moms are still here, or their elder, whoever? Is there a risk to opening back the country or not?
No, I don't think so. My dad's 94. Like I said, I'm almost 70. I don't wear a mask. Why? Because I'm not worried about getting it. If somebody gets it, like I said, if there is a real virus, then I get it. If it kills me, that's my issue, my problem, my responsibility. Not the Uncle Sam, not the government, not this dingbat in the mansion here to tell me what I can and what I cannot do. That's insane. It's socialism. It's socialism, and I find this is the beginning of socialism. And the sooner these millennials start figuring it out, that this is socialism, and this is the kind of government they want. This is how they want to live. I suggest to just pack your fucking bags. Russia will take you. North Korea will take you. There's a lot of socialistic countries. And I tell you right now, socialism that's been in every country has failed. And if you don't believe that, look at Greece. It went bankrupt. Venezuela, which was third wealthiest country in the world, bankrupt. Nazi was a socialist country. It went bankrupt. It lost the frickin' war. Socialism was alive and well in Russia. It went to almost to a semi-democratic system. Now with Putin back in there, he wants to put it back the old way. North Korea. It ain't working in North Korea. So anybody who wants socialism, you want it fine and dandy. I'll be more than happy to pack your bags and help you get the hell up. You can go to any socialist country you want. Just leave this country alone.
Thank you.
Yep.
Conflating a lot of socialism with communism. Didn't feel like asking further questions. That was quite a long interview. So a lot of questions could be asking. I would like to also just keep everybody free with the ability to express themselves. Again, we're out here in the front of the governor's mansion. This is the Minnesota's governor's residence right here in the background. We have hundreds of people out here looking to reopen the state. It's an action called Liberate Minnesota. We talked to the two organizers of it. We'll go back and check the stream for that. That sign says 2 million sick, 150,000 dead, and you act like this. There's a lot of people who just believe the numbers are conflated, believe the virus is fake. A lot of different opinions. Farrell, let my people go. Show us the real numbers.
Suck my balls!
Dude says fuck you, middle finger. And other people saying other expletives back. Again, earlier I would say there's at least 1,000 people, maybe 2,000. Now I would say less than 500, maybe 500. It's really hard to tell though. This is about a block and a half long, and the cars that the people are driving go very, very long as well. This is a truck of another media that's streaming up there that was yelling at Unicorn Riot. Again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Thank you for joining. We are here in front of the governor's mansion. A lot of people are talking about liberating Minnesota from the stay-at-home orders. Unicorn Riot's covered a lot of actions that have talked about asking the government for alleviations during these stay-at-home orders, like freeing them all, meaning certain prisoners, cancel rent and mortgage payments, and houses for the unhoused. Here's a placard of Donnie. And there's Governor Dayton's truck. One of his bodyguards actually got the coronavirus about a month ago.
Open up Minnesota now! 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 Open up Minnesota now!
I do not know what he's listening to get him in such a dancey mood. So lately, we've also talked to a person who had COVID. We will be releasing that report in the next days. They, I think, went to the hospital 3 or 4 times, never got a real test. They were told they have it, but they never got for sure positive test. We've covered a lot of car demos that have happened from Denver to Minneapolis, St. Paul to Philadelphia. We have much more reporting from the impacts and the effects of the coronavirus pandemic on a lot of underserved populations, vulnerable people, unhoused people, folks in the favelas in Brazil. We have reports coming from there. We have Greek reports coming from Greece and refugee camps in Greece, talking about how people are stuck on the borders of Greece and Turkey, sort of just stuck there now while this pandemic happens. A lot of refugee camps actually have folks that are fenced in. They literally cannot get out. So that's part of the international coverage. So yeah, be aware. We've also been reporting from other U.S. territories like Puerto Rico. It says news off. Unicorn Riot is a 501c3 nonprofit educational media organization. We've been around for 5 years because of you all's support. So thank you all for allowing us to continue to report, continue to be on the front lines, continue to be in the back end, continue to be doing research and investigative pieces. Again, it is only because of you all, so thank you all. Now we're about a month into the governor's orders to stay at home. This is what happens. People have come out pretty thick. There was a couple other rallies that have happened in other states. Michigan is one of the states that already had a action. At that action, from my understanding, it was paid for by the DeVos family. So it seems like a lot of these rallies are definitely super Trump-filled. As at the left, the left is super Democratic-filled half the time. So stark contrasts here in Minnesota, as well as the country in general. The country's been dividing itself along demographic lines for a while, since its creation, essentially, out of genocide and slavery. Earlier, we heard from folks that said they built this country. I didn't really court back with a historical question, but essentially that's not true. White folks did not build this country. I won't have to elaborate on that much, but that's not true at all. The folks who actually built the country still are looking for reparations. Descendants of Africans. And the folks who had their country stolen still don't have any kind of semblance of justice. So white folks did not build this country, if you ask me. If you look at history in general, that's the truth. Yeah, we talked to quite a few folks out here. We're going to continue to walk around and be live for a little bit longer. This action is scheduled to go for till 3 p.m., like another 10 minutes or so, but it doesn't look like there's any let up, or 5 minutes or so. There's no let up though. People are still thick. my understanding that Remiz Vidor, I don't have the word in front of me to look at the language and how to spell it, but there's been some successful measures that have been happening to treat people that are infected with the coronavirus. We'll be having some more coverage from this event a little bit later, as you see right here. We are also interviewing folks besides me. This is Jen from Unicorn Riot on the left. Interviewing somebody as to why they're either here or what their opinion is.
Advising our governors for weeks, we continue to have an excess testing capacity of 1 million tests per week available for use, and our capabilities are growing every single day, especially with the new tests that are coming onto the market rapidly.
The Black CNN. How you doing, man?
Man, this is totally preposterous. African American people could have never came out in a large group of numbers like this and gotten away with this. This is totally flapdoodle. This is unacceptable. But this is what happened when it's white privilege.
Yeah, so can you talk about that real quick? We had, all of a sudden, the face of COVID is black folks in America. Then we have these reactions from white folks in America where they start going to the governor's mansions and other states of power. Talk about that.
Well, I think that basically what's going on, black people has always been an scapegoat to everything. Whenever any type of outbreak they come out, it's anybody's fault. As you can see, Mr. Trump has always said anything that happened is always Obama's fault. We're looking at this pandemic, and also we're looking at what's going on. It's totally preposterous. African American people are being impacted by this because we're always the short end of the stick. But as you can see out here, these people are out here gathering and no social distance and none of that. They're basically unprotected of all of that. A lot of people out here have guns and weapons. So we better strap up and do what we got to do, because I'm telling you, these people are on a war path. This don't have anything to do with a pandemic or anything like this. These people are ready to go to war. They ain't thinking about going to work. It's not about a work thing. Let's follow the money. Trump has basically crashed this whole economic system to make it come back at 10 times more. People need to make sure they pay attention and be aware. What's going on right now? This is what's happening. They want to put Trump back in the White House. You can tell whenever somebody is basically crazy, whenever they stop checks to put their name on it, this is totally unacceptable. But this is what's happening. This is what they wanted to see. Welcome to United Snakes of America.
Thanks, King D. That's King Demetrius Pendleton, local independent media.
They violating the shutdown order right now. That's pretty much breaking the law, right? Okay, so where's all the state troopers and the St. Paul Police Department and the buses and the riot gear and the riot police? This is a Trump rally. Might as well call it a Klan rally. But where's all the police presence when we show up to the governor's mansion and we do the same thing, we get a totally different response than what we're getting right now. And that's from all of our elected officials, be it black or white. They sign off on sicking the police on us when we show up in numbers like this. So are you telling me that there's a fear for black people and it's not for these people right here? These people clearly have lost their damn mind out here in this street. You know? Now what we were standing up for was something, we were actually standing up for our rights. Right now they're actually putting lives at risk. And I honestly can say that they just thumbed their nose up to the governor, man, and they're breaking the law right now. So where's all the riot gear? Where's the police on mounted horses? Where's the St. Paul Police Department, the State Police Department? Yo, all these agencies that came out when we were doing the same thing for a righteous cause, yo, for our rights. So are you telling me that we really don't have no rights? And they do. I mean, that's how I feel right now, man. So, yo, I'm clearly looking at somebody breaking the law right now. I'm clearly looking at an unlawful assembly right now. And it's clearly in violation of the stay-at-home order. So why is it that nobody's doing nothing? They just let them do it. But if we do that, we step out here and say, we're tired of y'all killing our brothers and sisters. We're tired of the disparities we see here in this state. We're tired of living here as black men and women and being disrespected because of the color of our skin. When we stand up for our God-given right, we get met with police presence, riot gear, flashbangs. You know how they did us, man. Come on now. This is an obvious unlawful assembly is what it is right now. And nobody's going to do nothing about it. And I'm starting to think it's just because it's all white folks out here. Now, you know, I ain't trying to say it's racism, but if it looked like a duck, it got feet like a duck and a beak like a duck and it quack like a duck, it's probably a duck. I love you, boy.
Hey, real quick, can you talk about what it's like to be a black man in America right now with COVID? With COVID going around and a lot of the mainstream talking about, and right wing and left wing just talking about different things. Can you just talk about that real quick?
As black people, we always hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And as a black man, we already know who's gonna be at the receiving end of a lot of the bullshit that come with the COVID-19. Yo, the governor shut down all of the essential businesses. I mean, all these businesses, right? He put a freeze on evictions. But as soon as he lifts that, imagine what eviction court gonna look like for black people, right? You laid off a lot of people who was living check to check. So I can't say that he did that to save lives, but then they didn't give wraparound services for the people who gonna need it the most. And we're gonna be affected the most. You know, the people who are affected the most by COVID-19 are the people who really didn't have adequate health care in the first place. People who were applying for medical assistance and was waiting and going through all the red tape to get medical assistance. We can't afford to get sick off of COVID-19. We can't even afford to live here as black people in this state, man. So, yo, I'm clear with my message, man. This is an unlawful assembly, and it's a bunch of racist rednecks out here right now, man. And I mean that. You know, I don't never sugarcoat anything, bro. Like I tell it how a TI is, man. I love you. I appreciate everything you do. But you see exactly what I'm seeing. And Stevie Wonder can see that this is bullshit that's happening right now, man. So, yo, those are just my thoughts. You know who's going to be affected the most when this thing hits like it's going to hit. Because it's going to hit. And I feel like it's something they're not telling us about this COVID-19. Something that they're hiding. There's a hook somewhere. And we're going to be at the receiving end of that hook.
Again, we're out here in front of the governor's mansion. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. There's hundreds of people still out here. They're asking Governor Walz to open the state back up, reopen the state. Liberate Minnesota is the name of this action. As you see right there by one of the organizers. We talked to her earlier. Her name was Michelle, and that's Marnie. We talked to her as well. Those are the two organizers that created this event on Facebook. So we talked to about a handful of people who are not part of this demonstration. That handful has consistently said that what they feel about the situation. 1 second. Yeah, I would say about half of the group has left already. This event was scheduled to be done about 3 p.m. It's a lot of people putting up their Trump flags, tucking away, dipping out. But as you see, there's still quite the energy out here. As far as masks, it's interesting to see the number. It's probably about 7% of people, 7 to 10% of the people have masks on out here. Definitely not worried about social distancing. I think quite all everybody we talk to either doesn't believe that the virus is real, the pandemic is real, or they just don't care. They don't care if they get infected because they believe in God, and if it's their time to go, it's their time to go. That's what we heard from a couple people. This is the executive mansion of the governor of the state of Minnesota. It's now filled with signs, but people are leaving more and more signs. Ban RFID or get the fuck out. A lot of people think that vaccines are going to have RFID chips in them, and that this was all created by WHO and Bill Gates. A lot of people think that, some people think that it was created at the War Games in October when they did the War Games in Wuhan and hundreds of countries were there. Some people think it was made in Fort Detrick. The American government has a lot of past creation of biological weapons. The American government has been doing a lot of scientific experiments on folks of African descent. The Tuskegee experiment, one of them. There's so many more. They're talking about using specific drugs, vaccine drugs on Africans right now. French doctors literally were saying that. So a lot of the times the Western thought process around these drugs is one that's different than what the reality is. So a lot of people... I see you looking. You want to say anything? All right.
What did he say?
I saw him looking. I saw him have the face on. Unicorn Riot. We're an independent media organization. Okay. So yeah, we've sort of heard the gamut. What we haven't heard really is...
Like the Iroquois! Get tell them we ain't fearing none!
Book 2020, there you go. Looking for the Civil War. So a lot of people, like, as you heard, there was some accelerationists earlier on the stream that we talked to. There's other people who want this to happen to accelerate the downfall of society faster. Some people want depopulation to happen. If we're talking about depopulation and it's a conspiracy, most likely who's going to be depopulated? It's not the white folks that are out here. It's other folks that are not in the power classes. It's a QAnon. Again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. behind the camera, also holding the mic. Dan, thank you for running the back end. This is the governor's mansion right here, governor's residence. There's also a Free Them All car demo up north at Sherburne County Jail. That's like sort of total opposite of what this is. That's asking for ICE immigrant detainees to be released from jails and prisons, which are a hotbed of COVID. I think the top 5 places in America of COVID. You heard earlier in the stream one person talk about the meatpacking plant in South Dakota. That's one of them. The other 4, I believe, are literal jails and prisons. So jails and prisons, not a safe place to be with this coronavirus moving around. When it comes to that, there's people who have been doing car demos in Philadelphia, Minneapolis, St. Paul, other places. What they're asking for is the governor to, or governors or other people, their government, to allow vulnerable people, allow sick people, allow early release, allow those folks that are in there just on technical violations, that hasn't been charged or anything, allow people to leave, allow people to get home and be home as part of the stay-at-home order. Obviously, this is a whole opposite feel, a whole opposite thought process of that feeling out here. And we heard from a lot of people discussing why they're out here and their thoughts around the stay-at-home order and the quarantine and coronavirus itself. Would you be down to do an interview? Can you talk about your sign? Stop 5G now. It's dangerous to health.
It's dangerous because it's going to be the most powerful radiation wave to come out, since 1918, and it's going to make a lot of people sick. A lot of people in Wuhan got sick because they had vaccines and 5G blanketing their city. So, they're putting it up around schools. Go down University Avenue. It's all up on University Avenue by the major businesses. I looked on Google Earth. I took snapshots of all the places that they have it. And I looked, it's not on Grand Avenue, so why is it over in the neighborhood? Why is it over in the hood? Why is it over on University Avenue? Every few feet, there's 5G set up.
And then
5G, stop 5G.
So when it comes to 5G, is there a connection between 5G and the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, they say it started in China because it makes your cells sick. That's what viruses come from your body when your body is sick. When your body gives off of this material, and we're sick from the air, the chemtrails, we're sick from the food, the water, this is going to make people sick. This is going to give people those same symptoms. And then when they turn it on, they've been installing it during the lockdown. When they turn it on, it's going to give people like flu-like symptoms all over again. And they can just say that there's another pandemic, This is going to happen.
So just so I can understand it. So the 5G was already going up in China, Wuhan, you're saying, and then the coronavirus hit and it made them more sick?
Right, before October. In October, it went up in Wuhan, the 5G. Their whole town, you go on Google Earth and look at Wuhan. It's everywhere, in their public square, everywhere. Yep. They had vaccinations, would put metal in their bodies, and then the 5G started in October.
And you're saying because of 5G, that's how the coronavirus spread then?
Well, it's a combination of things. We don't have 5G here, you know, but, you know, I believe people have the flu and respiratory, you know, underlying conditions from, you know, they spray our sky like every other day, you know. So people have respiratory. I have respiratory, I believe, from it. You know, where else would I get respiratory things from?
Okay, does that make you scared? Like, with the pandemic happening, even to be out here amongst a lot of people? What's that?
It's a plandemic.
Plandemic.
5G separates oxygen molecules from water molecules. That's the same symptoms as COVID, aka COVID Ops Vaccination ID.
Yep, it's for the people. They showed some people just falling dead, whatever. They were the lack of oxygen. Lack of oxygen.
So put a mask on and you can't breathe even worse. Awesome.
Yeah, when they put them in a hospital and they're putting these ventilators on people that already have problems, it's like killing them. One guy said in Italy they're killing people in the hospitals, putting these ventilators on them.
Genocide.
Does it make you scared to be out here? Do you feel at risk to be out here with no mask?
Not being tested yet. Once they start breaking it down.
There's no virus. There's no virus floating around waiting to get you.
So there's no virus. It's just the 5G doing it?
No, it's just regular people being sick from this time of the year. That's all.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, it may be a weaponized virus. Who knows? I mean, it's making, you know, like the flu. It's the flu and SARS, like the flu and the respiratory problems, pneumonia. I had it back at the end of December. I had the flu and the stuff back at the end of December. They didn't shut down the world. You know, they didn't shut down the world. Why did they shut down the world in December? And everybody at my job was sick. Everybody was sick around that time. I hear so many people on Facebook.
A lot of people are saying the coronavirus was here in December. They just didn't know about it.
They just labeled it coronavirus. Go to darkcox.com and watch the interview with David Icke and London Real. It'll tell you the whole 2.5 hours story about what it is. Right. It's the best interview out there.
What can people do in the future to protect themselves if 5G and all these things are happening?
Oh God, I don't know. There's lots of countries that are tearing these things down, and you know you can't really do that because they're on churches, they're on schools, they're on sports complexes, they're on big apartment buildings, they're on the veterans memorial places. They are everywhere. And the new lights, the new LED lights, are tuned to the same thing as a freaking laser. They're burning your eyes as you drive around. None of this stuff is safe. No, it's all proven to not be safe, but you try posting it online, takes it off right away. It's fake news. It's not fake news. The fake news is the fake news that they keep putting on the news. You can watch Event 201, which is Agenda 201. If you take the zero out, you look at the zero in it, it's got the 5G global grid with Elon Musk's Starlink constellation. It's global takeover, and you got to get the vaccine in order to work, in order to have your health records on it, in order to have money. This is not rights at all. Our constitutional rights are being taken away all the freaking time, and everybody's just okay with it. Stay inside or wash your hands. Wash your hands of what? Your freedom?
You know when they declare emergency like that, like he did, our Constitution is like null and void once they declare a state of emergency. So, like, and they handed it over to FEMA. Like you said, they handed it over to FEMA.
Yeah, when President declares all 50 states a national emergency, he is no longer in charge. It's now FEMA's. And that's scary. That's not what we want.
How do you all feel about the Midwest Coalition that was created the other day? Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois, and a few other states.
Camps. You can look up the FEMA camps map, and it's actually set. We're District 5. Yeah, I've been watching all of this stuff. Trust me.
I'm wondering how this is going to happen. Yeah.
I think I've been watching your stuff
too. FEMA camps. How can they get people into FEMA camps except for call them quarantine camps?
What can ready for summer camp?
Summer camp, like Hillary said back then. We all adults, we need camps.
Nancy Pelosi fast-tracked Agenda 21, which is Event 201.
How can people, if Agenda 201, Agenda 21 is coming to fruition right now, how can people protect themselves?
Well, they've already started Agenda 2030 for this thing. It's Agenda 2130 right now. I don't know what we can do. We're trying to get back our rights, but this isn't enough people. If we came together as a world, if they want a world government, well, then we should be the world power to take care of everybody. We don't need somebody to tell us, oh, you can't go outside, you can't touch your face, you can't, we need our jobs back. We need to make money. We need to build up the economy. Everybody is hurting, and this isn't the way to do it.
No different than the flu.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
Just be healthy, get the vitamin D, get the vitamin C, eat healthy foods, stop the sugar, stop eating other processed food that they put in, that they give us. Just live a healthy life. Live a healthy lifestyle,
All right, grow your own food. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have a card, I think. I don't have any stickers on me. Yeah, most I have is a card right now.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. My name is Nico.
Nico.
Yep.
Sean.
Sean? What's your name?
Kathy.
Kathy, good to meet you. You too. The truth is, there is definitely tons of 5G networks that have been going up in Twin Cities area. That's a for real thing. A lot of people are talking about 5G and the connection to coronavirus. As you heard, those folks, the crowd is actually thinning down now. And it looks like this action is moving down. Sorry about this focus, y'all. I'm not sure. Gotta mess with some settings after this and see if we can get this focus figured out. Sorry about the in and out of focus every now and then. Again, thank you all for joining us. Nico from Unicorn Riot. Thank you, Dan, for the back end. We're out here live at in front of the governor's residence, where 1,000 or so people rallied, as in some other states that have been also doing rallies. The rally was called Liberate Minnesota, and people were looking on Governor Walz to end the stay-at-home order. We heard from a lot of folks as to reasons why they would like to end the stay-at-home order. And we talked to a few folks who were here to counter that and what their thoughts were. They said that one person said they had some good conversations with a lot of people. A lot of people were really open to talk on our stream. So if you want to gather information from these folks as to how they're feeling, why they would want to come out today with no masks, not socially distanced, and not worried about that stuff, but also to worry about what they felt was essential, their jobs and other such things, and opening the economy. A lot of people were talking about we want to work again. I heard a chant yesterday, we want to work, we want to work. Why you're here?
Well, I've been here and we just keep fighting. We just have been here. Now everybody knows what we lived through.
here. They're getting it a little bit more. And we've been here with all you people many times before. So.
When it comes to the stay-at-home order and lifting it, I'm guessing you are one who wants it lifted. And if so, is there?
I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse, so I'm for the health, and but I'm for some choice. But I also sacrifice. My kids are vaccinated, so we have to have a real healthy balance with some choice. But I'm for big picture. Better. I believe it can be better for everybody across the board.
Are you for the reopening of the state? Do you want to do the phases? How does that look like for you?
I'm not the expert there. I can't decide. I can't tell. I would have to look at the data myself and believe it and trust it. I'm just not seeing it happening like they predicted.
As a nurse, is there any risk to be out here right now? How are you feeling about the risk in general in Minnesota as a nurse?
I'm not working as a nurse. I'm not happy this state took my nursing license. Didn't really take it, but yeah, really they did. It was absolute fraud. Nobody believed me. I believe in integrative healthcare. I believe that people should be able to choose. But if there's vaccines, and I take the medicine. If I couldn't breathe, I have asthma. So if I got it and there was something that could make me better, I would take it. I also worked in MS treatment and research. Some of those people were willing, very thankful. But I believe they have so many cures too. I believe we have the cures. I believe we have solutions to homelessness and all kinds of things. So I appreciate you guys doing this. Now people know that the real news isn't always what's really out here. And they don't know what's in people's hearts until you've been there and done that. We were at Standing Rock. We were all sick there. They could have said coronavirus there. I remember hardly being able to breathe. Remember? Were you sick? Were you there?
There was a lot of people at the Dapple Cough.
And guess what? Guess what helped me? Not the prescriptions. It's a Cuban tent there. Do you know that? I got to tell you that story.
Thank you. Anything else you want to share?
No, just thank you for being here. I want to do the right and the best thing. People should have choice. I do think it's getting to the point where people are getting really depressed at home and isolated. I don't like our elderly dying alone. Something's got to give there. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good to see you again. I'll get you all a little bit better angle. Talk a little bit, and then we can bring the stream down. What you saw was maybe 1,000 or so people come out here, look for the reopening. They asked the governor for the reopening of the state. It's a big demo. A lot of people honking their horns in the middle of the street. A lot of people gathered. Not really anybody worried about social distancing. Not that many masks out here. If you like our coverage, we've been around for 5 years at Unicorn Riot. We've been continually trying to give you context to environmental and social struggles. Take a seat actually for a second. I'm going to look up real quick a few things for us to just brief over. So in Philadelphia, there was 2 demos in the last week, both asking the mayor of Philadelphia and 3 judges to let people go from detention centers and prisons and jails. Philadelphia at the time of, I think, Tuesday's action or Wednesday's action had, I think, 2 people die in jails and prisons. One was a woman who was 48 years old, Yvonne Harris. She passed in a Philadelphia jail, I think, the day before the action. The action, which we recorded live and also brought another video published to, is on our website at unicornriot.ninja. Is one of the first articles you would see about Philadelphia demanding that people get freed. Folks confronted Judge Coyle. Judge Coyle is a judge in Philadelphia who had a bunch of possible prisoners, or prisoners get quite, I don't know what you would call it. Basically, they asked for early release. So it was like not pardons. I'm not really sure what the specific language of the document was that they filled out. but I think some lawyers and some others filled out certain documents to get certain people released. Judge Coyle had denied every release. Judge Coyle was confronted yesterday, 2 days ago, on the live stream. As you can see, she was confronted by protesters who were screaming that the blood is on her hands while she was walking her dog across the street going into the parking ramp. Police then pushed aside folks that were there with a coffin. Folks were holding coffins. Protesters from Decarcerate Philly and some other groups were holding coffins, and so that was representing the people who were dying in jail. Then we were basically, the last month, we've covered 3 of the 4 car demos that have happened here in Minnesota. There's been a demo here at the governor's mansion to talk about freeing immigrant detainees. There was a demo downtown Minneapolis asking for the cancellation of rent and mortgage payments, and then there was a demo the other day in St. Paul also asking for the cancellation of rent and mortgage payments and homes for all, including the houseless. And that was at Minnesota legislature parking ramp, where Minnesota representatives were meeting in the parking ramp on Zoom as part of their social distancing as the Minnesota House went into session on April 14th. That was a couple of the last things that we've covered, coronavirus related. We also have a piece that specifically talks about what is coronavirus and you know how do humans defeat it. So that's a piece that just came out, and we have another article that'll be coming out soon with a discussion about somebody with COVID-19 and how they've dealt with it, how they've not actually even got tested. They've been to the hospital 4 times, and there's really not testing that they were able to get. So it seems like with the working and lower class, they're not getting treated, they're not getting tested the way that the upper classes are. As with the society in a lot of ways and a lot of facets of the institutions. So some of the other things real quick that I will say, we are 5 years deep as Unicorn Riot, as an independent media organization. 5 years now. As part of the celebration for 5 years, we have a 5-year t-shirt, commemorative t-shirt that's available for people who are able to, privileged enough to give us $35 in a donation or $12 a month. I think we have a goal of 5,000. Earlier today or yesterday we were at 1,100 or so, and that's amazing. Thank you so much for the support that we get from everybody. Without your support, we weren't able to cover these things. What's the last thing I'm going to tell you all? We have, man, this focus, I apologize. This camera just keeps going in and out of focus. We have a lot of the projects that we're working on that we also are like on hold. So thank you all for continuing to support us. The hold is because of the environment that we're in, the pandemic that's happening right now. One of the specific pieces of many projects that we're working on is a documentary on mothers who've lost their children to police killings. So we were planning on earlier release of that might be pushed back due to the pandemic and the surroundings of the environment and everything that's happening around the pandemic. So again, we have more coverage to come. We have a great plan and a great team that's putting together some great media. So thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Thank you for Dan for running the back end. And we will have more media from this event with some of the specific interviews that we talked to some of the organizers and whatnot. We will have that in the next few days, in the next week or so. Again, thank you all for tuning. Thank you. Stay safe. And I hope you all can have a great weekend. Take care.